it's Rachel Covallo here with Outcoast TV. I am sitting here with Jonathan Heider Laedtke in the Embassy Suites in Greater Fort Lauderdale. We are on an accessibility adventure to discover all the things that the Fort Lauderdale area has to offer travelers of all abilities. I personally have struggled with neurodivergent travel. I have anxiety and ADHD, and I've also traveled as a plus-size traveler. I can't wait to get your take on what it feels like to travel in a wheelchair around Fort Lauderdale. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Now we are at the Embassy Suites in Greater Fort Lauderdale. We are sitting in the atrium, which is beautifully lit, which I love from the neurodivergent standpoint. But tell me a little bit more about the hotel from your lived experience, as well as the fact that you're an architectural accessibility consultant.
This hotel has been amazing. I've really been impressed with all the changes they've made recently that have made it just an overall inclusive space for all different types of abilities. They have a variety of different option of hotel room styles with bathtubs, roll-in showers, as well as rooms specifically made for people with hearing impairments. And so I'm really impressed with how they've gone that extra level. They also have a really accessible weight room facility and a really accessible outdoor area by the pool with an accessible outdoor bathroom, as well as the different levels that are easily ramped to, which is fantastic to see.
So we've also had great food. I feel like we've been eating our way through the Lauderdale region. We did pop into TJ's sushi restaurant. I love TJ's. I go there often. I do recommend going during the week. When we were there during the day, it was nice and chill, and sushi was great. I think accommodations were also spectacular.
Agreed. I mean, it was really easy. It was a flat level entry into the restaurant, and easy just to pull up and go right to the table. It was a great experience overall. The staff, again, was super attentive and accommodating.
We also went over to the Wilton Manors region, which of course has been featured on Outcoast before as this little LGBT gay mecca in the middle of Florida, one of the most inclusive places in the country, if not the world. Tell me about your experience in Wilton Manors. I first of all noted the very, very wide sidewalks where we could actually comfortably walk side by side.
Yeah, I mean, starting from there, I mean, super wide sidewalks. It's somewhere that's very touristy for the LGBTQ community. It's nice to see that even when there was like all these lines for the restaurants and the clubs and all the different spaces, that I still had plenty of room to get my wheelchair around. I mean, that was huge. Also appreciated with all the different boutiques along the main drive that all of them were at entry level. There was no steps, there was no ramps. Everything was flush to the ground, which was really nice. It's super inviting from that aspect.
I also noticed that both in Lauderdale Boulevard and Wilton Manors, that many of the storefronts had little signs that designated that they were either an LGBTQ friendly store or business, or they were an accessible friendly store or business, which was really nice to see. I even remember on one of the handicap stickers, it said, please be mindful of moving things away from entrances so people can get through. So I love that. I love seeing that. We also got to go to Sunshine Cathedral to watch me perform comedy along with two other friends of mine. It was such an honor to be able to grace their stage with lesbian comedy in church, which was quite the experience. But from an accessibility standpoint, what was your experience?
My experience was really just, again, welcoming. They had multiple accessible entrances into their building. On top of that, they had an amazing pastor who was there working the event, continuously came up to me asking what kind of adaptations I needed, and it's just like a really good, wonderful open space that just felt like it could make anybody safe and comfortable.
And then we also, in Las Olas area, we visited the new restaurant Timber. I love the restaurant because it was like the room that we were in was covered in flowers, and I'm obsessed with flowers. So it was beautiful, beautiful space. Definitely a little bit higher energy from a music standpoint. So just being aware of that too from a neurodivergent aspect. But from an accessibility standpoint, like physical accessibility, I think they nailed it with making sure that you were comfortable and had the same experience as everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. From a physical accessibility standpoint, it was really easy to get in and out of the space. Immediately, as soon as we got in, they had the chair already pulled away so that my wheelchair could get up to the table. I would think it was just really like a really good experience. They had a counter that was a good height as well from an accessibility standpoint.
And their food is fabulous. Like probably one of the best meals I've had, not just in the Greater Fort Lauderdale area, but in the state of Florida. And I'm pretty picky, so highly recommend Timber. We were up way too late last night having fun at the Sunshine Cathedral for a comedy show, and now we need coffee.
Coffee in Fort Lauderdale. Ooh. Wow, look at this menu.
We have a lot. Like, what kind of flavors do you like?
I'm fun, fruity.
Fun.
Delicious. We just got our coffee and we are off to sled hockey.
Another great day in Fort Lauderdale.
Where are we going?
Well,
I'm just up for the ride. Wherever he's taking us, I'm not quite sure, but I trust him. I'm here at the Florida Panthers Ice Den. We're watching sled hockey, which I've never seen before, and I found a new friend. These players are absolutely incredible. I love what Visit Lauderdale and the Fort Lauderdale area offers. Incredible people of all abilities, and you have to check this out next time you're in town. But everybody under the sun belongs in Fort Lauderdale.
go Panthers!
I think you need more coffee.
I do.
One of my favorite things that we did was go on the Jungle Queen. We had an interesting day because it was beautiful, and then it did start to rain a little bit, but we got onto the Jungle Queen and it was a beautiful river ride through town. How did you feel from your perspective?
Yeah, I've been on several other boats before from an accessibility standpoint. Usually there's like a lift to get in, or the ramp is really steep, and I was really impressed that it was just like this really flush, level ramp to get from the sidewalk onto the boat. It just felt like I was barely even getting on a boat, and all of a sudden we're on the boat, and I thought it was so cool, and the entire lower level is fully accessible, and I was able to take my wheelchair all the way to the front, all the way to the back, to the sides, and just really experience everything like everybody else.
We then went next door to a restaurant on a boat, and we were trying to escape the rain for a minute as, you know, that was coming down. And the reason we stopped in that restaurant is the staff ran over to help us down that step, which was amazing. And so we visited. And how did you like your drink?
Drinks were really good, but the experience was also amazing. You just mentioned how the staff came and helped us, and it just seems to be the overall theme of being in Lauderdale is the attentiveness of the staff, the attentiveness of the people in the community, and the fact that like it was a boat and it had wheelchair accessible bathrooms with a button to press to get into the bathroom. The tables were low. There was even a low counter at the bar. I mean, just everything was thought of, and it's just so cool that they took it that far and that they wanted to, and that was important to them.
We went to Mai Kai. So Mai Kai is this Polynesian restaurant. It's like a Disney-esque experience right here in Greater Fort Lauderdale. It brought me back to my childhood because I used to go to Polynesian restaurants when I was younger, and my dad was always the one that wound up on the stage in the hula skirt having to like shake his coconut. So it was great to be there. How did you feel there? It was definitely a little bit more of a crowded space, but did you feel like they accommodated you and made sure you were comfortable while you were at the venue?
Yeah, I really respected and appreciated the way that there was always staff everywhere, that there was staff at the counter, there was staff running around, that, you know, we had a waiter that kind of was in our area, you know, there was the managers walking around, that it just felt like any moment you made eye contact with somebody, they were there to assist. And so I really appreciated that. And I think because of the way they were so accommodating, that anybody with a disability, I think, had the ability to have the same shared experiences as somebody who didn't have a disability. And that is so important in a kind of experience like that.
We also stopped by the Hyatt Centric in Las Olas on the Las Olas Boulevard area. Tell me about that hotel.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, the fact that they had 58 rooms is a mind-boggling amount of rooms. They have all these rooms that are made for different types of disabilities, rooms with roll-in showers, rooms with bathtubs. They have rooms that are meant for hearing impaired, visually impairment as well. And so they really took accessibility to mind. Even downstairs in their restaurant, they have different tiered levels of bar counters as well as different table heights. Even their front desk counter has a lower counter height as well.
I also loved the town. Las Olas Boulevard is just beautiful. It's probably my favorite place to go shopping. I love the jewelry stores too, but it was nice to just stroll around town. How did you feel strolling around town on the sidewalks and going into some of the stores in that area?
I felt it was so welcoming and inclusive. I've traveled a lot of different places and been to a lot of kind of touristy areas and like gone down like kind of rows of boutiques. And a lot of the times, the way to get into some of these accessible places, you have to go all the way around the corner to get up to an accessible ramp. And every single place had these beautiful accessible ramps into the spaces. A lot of them had their doors wide open. All of their kind of furnishings inside provided ample amount of space to be able to get through, and so is so inviting from an accessible standpoint. They had super wide sidewalks, and we were able to really just navigate super well and felt welcomed from an accessibility standpoint.
While Jonathan's looking around town, I am checking out more important things like jewelry.
But I got to visit the new pickleball stadium, and they had thought of everything. There were ramps everywhere. You could get anywhere. The pickleball courts are ADA accessible, so it was really inclusive from that experience too. And I just love all the sports and the accessible sport options available in this area, from the stadiums to the arenas, all sorts of stuff. They have that here in Greater Fort Lauderdale.
Welcome to the Fort. We got 43 courts. We have a stadium, which is the world's first pickleball stadium. We have two sides of the club, one that's more social and one that's more competitive. We have 4 grandstand courts that are oversized. We're built for fun, and we're built for competitiveness. Yeah, so we made sure the entire facility is accessible. So we have the proper amount of ramps. We have all of our gates to every court is 4 foot or wider. So we're at 3,000 square foot restaurant, 3,000 square foot event center. Again, we're built for more than just pickleball. It's for people to come, play, have fun. Whether you're a member, non-member, you can join full membership. You can come in just for the day. You can just come hang out in the lake. Really just want a place for people to come and socialize and have fun.
We are hiding in the car, eating chocolate while we are waiting out the rain. I accidentally left the chocolate in the car while we were at the Embassy Suite, so I think we should eat it before it melts. So we're having a moment and taking a breath.
Lauderdale's also filled with museums and galleries and places to enjoy culture and arts. And from the Museum of Science and Discovery, which is one of mine, I know it's like really catered towards children, but my inner child is very happy when I go there. But we also have beaches, and one of the places you can go in Lauderdale that's amazing from an accessibility standpoint is the accessible beach.
I love the beach. I live up in the Milwaukee area, and we have a beach, and we have a wheelchair accessible beach. So it's amazing to go somewhere else that also has an accessible beach with an accessible path on the beach, all rolled out and welcome to people with different limitations. And it doesn't feel like, oh, I can't go to the beach. But right here, there was the opportunity that I was able to take my wheelchair onto the beach, where the sand is, where typically a wheelchair is not able to go, and to be able to go onto the sand area and run around with my wheelchair, and also having accessible parking nearby. I think that's a huge thing too.
We went over to drink for some cocktails, and Jonathan likes his cocktails.
I do love my cocktails.
We also went to Tulios, which is a Mexican restaurant right in the Wilton Manors area. What did you think about that restaurant?
Yeah, really delicious food. Again, they were super attentive. The fact that as soon as we rolled up, they held the doors open for us. They pulled the chairs out. They were always there to be available to us. It's just a really great inclusive community right there in Wilton Manors that the restaurant staff lived up to it.
So it's been an honor and a pleasure, not only traveling with you as a friend, but learning from you as an expert in this space. I come at this from a marketing perspective, and you come at it from, is this going to be a functional experience and a pleasant experience for people traveling in wheelchairs and with accessible needs? So it's been great. It's been an honor to learn from you. Have you had fun in Lauderdale?
I've had a blast. Looking forward to coming back again soon.
The Greater Fort Lauderdale area is for everyone under the sun, and I highly recommend you experience it for yourself so you can see what we have experienced it from an accessibility standpoint.